What is going on, everyone? Boom. Happy New Year, everyone. Hope you're doing good. I thought I'd jump on real quick because I'm doing nothing and the ball's about to drop in the East Coast. So I thought I'd see what everyone's doing. Hope you're doing well. Howdy from Nashville. Luke, how are you? Happy New Year, Shirlene. Happy New Year to you, Eileen. Boom, 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 boom. 113 people already. What's up, Slap Doctor? How are you? New Year, Jackson, Jenny W. How are you? Justin, Happy New Year. Wow, Minneapolis, Henderson, Nevada. Ooh, this moving faster than I thought it was going to. I thought you guys only thought there'd be a couple people on here. Happy New Year to me and McMuffin. I was just down there loving on McMuffin. She was watching her show and she was into it and didn't realize I was standing there. And then she freaked out, snuck up on her. Saw a cool one I wanted to put up here now. Family game night and watching TV. That is not a bad night. Happy New Year. Jackson's from there you go. Da, 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 da. Boom. Chicago in. When's my next cruise? My next cruise is the 29th of January. Clearly, we are all that's about the truth, Justin. I was just telling someone today, actually the love doctor, the stand-up comedian. He was talking about how he spends his New Year's with his kids now and doesn't feel like partying. And I realized somewhere around 30, 31, I was like, it's not even worth it to go out anymore. Caleb Reiser, how are you, buddy? Hey, Dregs. One just playing nation states. One of the best, I imagine you're saying. Watching wondered if yeah, I hate that. Bullets come down. People fire off bullets or rounds. It's one thing if it's a shotgun. Chances are when it lands, it's not gonna really hurt anyone. Well, when you're shooting serious lead into the air and it comes down, you can do some damage to someone. Brandon, how are you? Camping on the farm, Texas Panhandle. Weather is beautiful. Yes, it is out there. Just went a few miles to the strip. No room to move. Yeah, I hate that. I can't stand that. I think the worst New Year's I ever did was Las Vegas. It was just too crowded. It wasn't worth it. It was expensive. I did not have a good time at all. Never gonna do that again. Right? Shirlene? Amateur night. Yeah, about my I'm going on a cruise on the 20 oh, wait, best I like the title of your YouTube channel, best YouTube channel ever. New Year's resolution, I'm breaking up with my girlfriend and remodeling my bathroom. Bittersweet. Yeah, kind of is, huh? It's rough when relationships end, but sometimes it's, kind of a good thing when they end. But yeah, my next cruise, I leave out of New Orleans, um, on the 29th. I get there, like, on the night of the 27th. I'm gonna spend 28th in New Orleans, do some things, and then sail out in the morning. So that should be pretty exciting. Hey, Briggs, your opinion on what do you think the best place to live in Utah is? There's a couple that I like. I hold on, Brigham Young City. I kinda like that one. Brigham Young City's nice. It's away from all the, the Salt Lake City area. It's north of there. That's one I like because 'cause you're kind of not in the city, but you kind of are. You're kind of in that area there. But Logan's pretty good too. I like Logan. Oh, there you go. Toyota corporate block tore down on what? Really? In 190th, they tore that down? I had so many friends that work there. Best national park, that's a good one. It could be a lot of different ones. Um, that's really a preference. I like Capitol Reef, though, but then again, I like, Acadia too. Down to 4 double cheeseburger. They tested Mythbusters bullet in the air. I think they proved it could hurt or kill you. Yeah, I think it could. That's definitely a bullets coming down hurt, metal. I mean, even if you drop a bullet off your two-story building and hit someone on the head, it's gonna hurt, even though it's this big, the actual bullet, but, actually, to penetrate the skin, I imagine you gotta come down a couple of floors and 5, 6 floors at least. Okay, the chat's moving pretty quick, guys. Sorry, I know I'm missing some. I'm reading some, and I wanna get to them. Let's see this one. Alexander, if there was one I wanted to see. Is it 2023 now? It is 2023. Happy New Year's, everyone. I wonder if I got a graphic for that. No, I don't have a graphic. I come ill prepared. How about we just watch a quick graphic of some police hassling a homeless guy? Wasn't that exciting? Almost as good as watching the ball drop. Check out Alaskan Cruises and found that they have indoor pools. Yes, they do. So, one thing I will tell you, you could take a lot of cruises and you can go the cheap route and take the inside cabin, and that is very inexpensive. If the one cruise that I will tell you 2 cruises, you need to have a balcony, Alaska and the one that goes up to the Canada area out of New York, all that. Those 2, you need the cabin, you need the balcony just so you could look out and see amazing things. The other ones are kinda like parties. You really don't need an outside balcony or anything. Get an inside room and save some money if you want. 2023, everyone, we made it another year. Florida, miss people there, yeah. We actually got snow here, Tennessee, for Christmas Day only, a tiny amount, but still, and in Oregon, yeah. So 2 or 3 days, I wouldn't even call it snow. It was freezing rain, but it stuck on the ground. So we had a ice thing on Christmas. There was still a little around on Christmas. It happened the 2 days before, and I think Christmas Eve, it was clear, but the snow was still on the ground, and then Christmas Day, there was still a little bit on the ground. Gardena? Yep, 5 minutes away from my West Torrance. My cousin lives in Gardena right now. He bought a house there a few years back. Cruising right now, I will tell any of you, and I'm going on cruises, and my other channel, my vlogging channel, is gonna have a lot of cruise content on there here in the next year or 2. But, and don't worry, we're oh uh-oh, hold on. There we go. So, cruises right now are about half price. So if you've ever thought about going on a cruise, now's the time to go on a cruise. I might actually give a cruise away someday to someone. Hey, Izzy D, thank you for supporting the channel. I really appreciate that. Haven't gone on a cruise yet? You gotta go on a cruise. Hello, Greg. How are you, buddy? Sri, happy New Year to you. Ord is falling apart, the roof collapsing. Your opinion on it. Ord? Okay, so are you talking about ORD, the airport, or are you talking about Fort Ord, where I went in the military? Which, no, you wouldn't be talking about that because but that's pretty much down already. Be out your way if ever Briggs visiting the kid, not yours. They still doing Portland Jazz Festival. Yes, they do. I know they obviously shut that down for COVID, but I think they're having it again this summer. The airport, yeah. The airport, I haven't been to Ord in a year and a half, but, I mean, it's a big airport. You're gonna run into sections where it's nice, others where it's bad. I think the worst airport I've ever gone to is, not LaGuardia, what's the other one? One in New Jersey right across the way there. Oh my god, I can't even think right now. Liberty? Yeah, that's the worst I've been to. Yeah, Newark Liberty. Oh my god, I've always hated that. I've heard it's gotten better. I haven't been there probably 7, 8 years, maybe more than that, but every time I've gone there, it was just a just like I think it was back when he was a senator, Joe Biden said that, no, he said that about LaGuardia. He said LaGuardia was like something you'd see in a third world country. Oh, yeah, Newark Liberty. Do for honeymooners. You know, Luke, I do not, and that might be a really good idea to do one. That is a good idea. I never even thought about that. Thanks, Craig. Yeah, that was, I put that one off for a long time. I didn't wanna really jump into that subject, but I kept getting asked about it. Yep, 95% of, my daughter's best friend and her sister were coming home to Oregon. One's in Hawaii now, one's in Texas. Their parents still live here, and they didn't get in till the day after Christmas. "Hey, Tanya, how are you?" What is my opinion on Raleigh, North Carolina? I don't mind Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina. That's a nice area. It's become very popular. Myself, if I was gonna move to North Carolina, I would choose Asheville and Charlotte before that, but Raleigh, Durham's not bad. I mean, there's so many worse places in that part of the country you could live. Raleigh, Durham, I would say if I was gonna look at, like, 10 best metro areas, they're probably 14th or 15th, I think. That's my opinion. Big news for Tennessee, Dolly Parton just got inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I don't know, what like, yeah, I don't know if she's rock and roll, really. Thanks, Eric, I will. Say something good about Arkansas? One of the hardest working people I've ever seen in my life is from Arkansas. I can't remember her name, but I worked with her at Nike, and she was a young girl. So this she's from Arkansas. I think she's about 19 years old, and in my life, I have never seen someone work as hard as that girl and take her job as serious as she did. Um, yeah, she impressive. So, if that's any indication of how people are in Arkansas, that's a good thing because 'cause I'm an older guy. I've worked with a lot of people in my life, and that's how much she stood out. She wasn't even on my team. Say something that okay, so boom, 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 boom. Briggs, Tennessee, Chattanooga area better or Northern Georgia? So Angie, Chattanooga is not a bad place to live. It's got some crime. But I think in the coming years, they're gonna be a lot better off. They've got stats that are moving in the right direction, so hopefully. But I would choose Chattanooga over Georgia. Bro, 5,000,000 people in Argentina World Cup parade with people jumping into yeah, I saw that. That was insane. Even happy birth or birthday, happy New Year. What city would be good to live in Alaska? Well, that's a good question. Juneau is probably the best city because you still kinda have access to other it's not Alaska's very spread out, and you run into a lot of with getting places. So, I would say, um, Anchorage is probably your best bet, but if I was gonna live someplace there and not worry about having to get to an airport or anything like that, I really like Juneau. Juneau's a nice place. Ketchikan's kinda nice too, but I'd probably live near or around Juneau. Say something good about Oklahoma. It's impossible. They got a lot of nice dirt. Let's see. Nice to connect face with the voice. A huge fan in St. Louis area. What do you think about the video of St. Louis? A lot of major history stuff. Yeah, St. Louis is a very interesting city. So one thing I did a video about there, the worst neighborhoods, and I went by crime rate. And actually, it was the most dangerous neighborhood. So I went by crime rate, and everyone climbed up my backside because there was one place that had a very high crime rate, and I put it in there, and I specifically said the reason this one is this way is because it has a lot of car break-ins and a lot of bar fights, things like that. It's crime. We're looking at the crime rate. Well, everyone's climbing all over me because it's a very nice neighborhood. Well, it's also a nice neighborhood where a lot of bars are and things like that, and people have nice cars. So, it was just weird. Other than that, St. Louis has always had potential to be a great city. I mean, the history of St. Louis is amazing. Most people don't realize how historic St. Louis is. They always think, history of the United States is gonna be on the East Coast, Gettysburg, Boston, New York, places like that, Philadelphia, but no, St. Louis, serious history there. The push west basically started in St. Louis. Like, if you were in the East Coast and you decided you were gonna go to the West Coast, you had to make it to St. Louis first, and then push on from there. Please don't make fun of me when I'm moving to Philly. David, yeah, I'm getting ready to do a video on, Philly. Uh, so there's something strange about Philly. Not a lot of people are moving there right now, but they're still gaining population. That's because not a lot of people are moving out. So it's really strange. Normally, there's a nice little influx, outflux type thing. They're growing, but they don't have many people moving in. It's really strange. Oh, you know what I forgot to do tonight? Oh, I hate it when I do that. Gotta turn on my globe. What color are we going with tonight? Green? Doing there we go. Would I l I'd rather live in Barrow, Alaska. I like the cold, and, not being around a lot of people, and Barrow, Alaska has that. Sure, you might be eaten by a polar bear when you go to take your trash out, but, you know, worse things can happen in Gary, Indiana. Um, I'm a Cleveland Browns fan. I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, so right off the bat, I hate Pittsburgh. Other than that, it's not a bad city. Good evening, idle time. Yeah, you and a lot of other people. I got out, got May, it'll be 13 years, and my only regret is I didn't do it sooner. And that was 13 years ago. And I don't hate the politics or anything like that. The homeless situation wasn't that bad when I was there. Um, my problem was the traffic and the cost of living and cost of housing had gone so high. I mean, I could I had a house and the payment was still the same, next to nothing, but it was like everything else was so expensive. It was like, "Why am I paying for this if I'm not even happy here?" You know? That's why I left. Yeah, John, I've been a Browns fan forever, and every year I think it's gonna get better next year. My wife describes it as a abusive relationship, that every year they mistreat me, and then, they tell me they're gonna be better next year, and I believe them. Yeah. Briggs, ever thought about doing trip for successful YouTube channel? Oh, doing tips. So, Randy, that's actually something I'm working on for my other channel, which is According to Briggs or Life According to Briggs. Um, you have all these different things where people break down how to start a YouTube channel. I thought I'd break it down into a series of like 15 videos. And I mean, start off from the very beginning, like how you actually make your channel, how you upload, and go through the process and basically show everyone, this is how you upload a video. You gotta click this button, and this button, and get that in depth, make it entertaining, and do it. So, that is something I will be doing in 2023. Not sure when, but yeah, I'm gonna teach people how to make a YouTube channel because it is the best thing I've ever done in my life. I love it. I still love making YouTube videos. I've been doing it 6 years, and I haven't worked a normal job in 4 years, almost 4 years. God, wait, hold on. I've been doing it longer than that. So 2022, 2021, 2020, 19, 18. Oh, wow. So I quit working a normal job in 2018. So it's been over 4 years now, about 4 years. And I'd only been doing YouTube as, full time or a lot, I should say, consistently for about 18 months before I was able to quit my job. Happy New Year, Christian. Happy New Year from Ethiopia. Is that what that said? That is what it said. I think that's the first time I've gotten a comment from Ethiopia. Thoughts on Biden? He's the president of the United States. Those are my thoughts on him. Briggs, I drive Uber in St. Louis. I learned a lot about there in 1937. There was one bathtub for every 200 people. Yeah, St. Louis stunk. Seriously, history makes your head spin. Yeah, I'm a big actually, almost every single book I have in my office here is a history book of some sort. Usually it's history trivia, things like that. If I read a book, it's usually a biography of some historical figure. It's about the truth. Don't mess with Cali unless you're a millionaire. Ooh. We're running a lot of things in the chat here, guys. So sorry if I'm not getting everyone. I really am. Really love your channel. Thank you. Happy New Year. Thank you for service in our country. Thank you, C. Blaine. Riggs, you're amazing. Thank you. I'm watching you since the worst airport series. Oh, way back then, the original worst airport series. Well, I only did it once. God, that's like 4 years, I think. Well, thank you. Cheers from Tampa. How are things in Tampa? Guy makes my made my YouTube or my website is from Tampa. Went to high school with him. He moved out there years ago. Would actually love to take a day trip to Boston. Must be nice, yeah. Boston's a nice place to hang out and visit. Definitely it's something one of those cities you should visit one time in your life. Oh, they're taking down Ripley's? I was just there during the pandemic. I saw all that. Right across that's right across from the Alamo. Briggs, I wanna tell you, Hog Village, Lino. Check it out. A place shocked. Okay, I will check that out. McMuffin is spectacular. I was just down there a few minutes ago. She's not a cold weather pig. She does not like being outside in the cold weather, the wet. She likes it nice and warm and stuff like that, and she likes to lay down and get the sun on her belly. So she's not happy right now, but Heather Hunt, Houston, yeah, the skyline on the West Coast. Maybe. My trip to America soon is based on your channel. There you go. I hope it works out for you. Oh, in Illinois, okay, gotcha. Do I think New York City and Philly Do you think New York City and Philly are the 2 least safest? No, not at all, not at all. Philly Philly's got some rough parts. New York City is not that bad, there's far worse than New York City and Philly. Pug. I don't wanna spoil some of the side of Chicago, just say, "Oh, really?" Move out of LA if you yeah. You know, every place is crazy. It's just so here's a video I've been working on, and it's basically, it has to do with it's actually kinda based on cities versus rural areas and the difference and why they're different and, you know, you gotta see it. It'll be probably about another 2 weeks before I put it out. Have I have I tried OnlyFans? So, I know comedians that are on OnlyFans, but, uh, OnlyFans has that reputation, and, of just being for, nudity and everything else like that. I just don't know if I wanna be involved in that. Sheridan, Wyoming, but it's been years since I was in Sheridan, Wyoming, probably 2 decades, so when I was there, I had a good time. Stayed, like, 4 days. What's the best place for safety and medical? So, you gotta look for smaller towns that have a good size, like a county hospital nearby. A perfect example, I always talk about Honesdale, Pennsylvania. Honesdale is a small city. I don't even know how many well, it's a small town. Honesdale has a population of 4,500 people, so it's not that big, but in Honesdale, they have a giant hospital. That hospital's sort of there for the whole county, but if you're in this small town of 4,000, you have a hospital there that, you'd expect in a much larger city. So, that's my suggestion. Find a small town because, 90% of the time, they're gonna have lower crime than just about any big city, and just find one that has the hospital there in town. Oh, hold on. Got it. Okay. There's this, string sticking out of the back of my chair, and it's getting me right above the belt line underneath my shirt. It just keeps rubbing on me. McMuffin OnlyFans channel, that's all we need. Showing her laying around, their belly out. I became a fan of videos of Nick Johnson. He was too boring, but I found you and paying $9. Oh, yeah, you're the best, Dregs. You've been with me a very long time, and I appreciate that. Nick's just got different delivery. That's all there is to it. There's a couple people that are basically trying to rip off what me and Nick do, and they're doing these voices like, "Thanks for looking at our video," and it's just this lame thing. It's horrible. I can't say it's like they're trying to be a radio host, but they don't have the voice down yet, and it's like, "What are you doing?" "Hey, thank you very much for supporting the channel, Nathan. Appreciate it. Happy New Year's." What's a nice city to visit? Depends on what you're looking for. If you're gonna go to the East Coast, you gotta visit New York City. Now, stay in Manhattan and stay out of some of the worst parts and just be careful, but you gotta see it. I'd also suggest seeing Boston. I would suggest visiting Miami. Um, and I would suggest visiting Los Angeles, but not downtown. Stay towards the beach if you go visit Los Angeles, and, you'll have a good time. If you wanna go look at the southern cities and stuff like that, there's a lot of good ones. It's hard to choose those really, though. But thank you for supporting the channel, I really appreciate that. By Nick Johnson does very similar videos to me, he's a friend of mine, and, we do similar videos. Just got a different style than I do. Kevin, thank you very much. You pay to see McMuffin play in the mud. Oh, that should be a good one. I should really get when it warms up, I'm gonna fill up her little mud hole and let her splash around in it and film that for you guys. We're actually thinking about so my next door neighbor is a construction guy, and we're kinda going over some things about the house, and he was giving me some ideas about her pen. But my house, I don't know if I've told you guys, has this so it's a normal house in a typical once middle class neighborhood. Well, a church used to own it, and they built this weird extension onto it, and it's poorly made. Well, I'm gonna have them tear down the extension and rebuild it better, and when we do that, we're gonna build a special room for McMuffin, that kinda leads to the outside, and so she'll have her own door, and it'll be her own little room, which her room's the size of a small bathroom, in the house, and it'll be all nice and wood and, hardwood walls and slat boards or whatever. So, yeah, we're gonna do that pretty soon. States with the most ghost towns. Good, uh, good question there, Dregs. Oddly enough, it's not you think. Everyone's gonna think it's Arizona, Mexico, something like that. Actually, Colorado. West Virginia is another one that shocks people when they find out how many ghost towns they have. Some of West Virginia's ghost towns have about 3 or 4 people living in them, and they used to be a town of, let's say, 400. What's the greatest place for aspiring musicians? YouTube. It's the truth. But if you wanna go someplace and get stage time and stuff like that, you gotta find a place that is on the outskirts of a major city like Nashville. Nashville's known for their music. Um, obviously Los Angeles and stuff like that, Seattle. Portland's probably a great one for music still. One that's a sleeper, that most people don't realize, Charleston, West Virginia, has a pretty good music scene, so does Asheville, North Carolina. So if you move somewhere around those, probably probably what you're looking for. Mississippi is not a liberal state. It's actually one of the most conservative states in the union. Boom. Nathan again. Thank you very much. Winking face. Appreciate that. Oh yeah, me and Nick talk every once in a while. We go over strategies on YouTube and how the channels are doing and stuff like that. Um, yeah, we talk at least a couple times a month. I'm sorry if I missed anyone else that was doing super chats. I gotta give you my disclaimer. I do this by myself all the time, so I don't, I don't get everything. One of these days, I'll have someone help me with it. It's pretty weird. They got these things now where, how you could see the stream or the chat in the stream right here. It's kinda strange. Okay, what I was looking for is missing. Okay, let's go back to the thing. But yeah, they didn't used to have this. Was 35 days of sort of beauty scene, probably Colorado. Colorado is a beautiful state. Yo, Briggs, what do you think about the state of Jefferson? County, wait for it, joke. Sort of a joke. We live. So yeah, I mean, the state of Jefferson, in case you don't know, guys, there's been a few different things. There's the different movements to separate from a state, and state of Jefferson is one. If I believe that one's the one that's Northern California and Southern Oregon or something like that. Um, State of Jefferson. Let me make sure I'm getting that right. Yeah, state of Jefferson, Oregon. Yeah, they want to take Northern California and Southern Oregon and make it a new state. Well, there's also another movement where they want to break off the east part of Port or Oregon and join Idaho. Now, here's the problem with all that. If California wanted to buy that port, or let's say Idaho wants to break off from Oregon. The biggest problem is, A, does Idaho want that part of Oregon? Chances are no. It has no value to them other than land. I mean, there's not like any big industries there. It's not like they got a bunch of mines out there. It's not like there's a serious amount of farming. They got good fishing out there. And all the government buildings and all that, that would have to be bought from the state of Oregon. Idaho's not going to do that. So, state of Jefferson and greater Idaho, it'll never happen. If it does, it's not going to be in our lifetime. Absolutely. Recreational lifting. Pahrump is a dump. California is the most conservative, followed by New York. So I know you're using all the catchphrases and the buzzwords, but we don't have any communist states. That's all there is to it. We don't have any communist cities. If you really think that a state is acting in a communist way, you don't understand communism. You don't understand socialism anyway. I'm not going to get all into politics here with you, but if you think that is a legit thing to say about two states in the United States of America, you don't understand communism. We're recording Briggs. Other than the top 10 ghost towns videos, how about 10 cities rebound financially? That we kind of did that one. Towns and cities moving in the right directions. That was something we kind of worked on, but we'll see. Learn a lot much from yours. Also feel entertained at the same time, and that's what I'm shooting for. I want to teach people something, and I want them to get a good chuckle every now and then. Not everyone's gonna be funny to everyone, and not everything's gonna be hysterical, but yeah, I try. Nevada has a lot of good ghosts. Yeah, they do. So, so this is something that pops up, and what it is they don't. It's not that they don't report crimes. It's they've what's the word I'm looking for? They've separated them, and it's a weird way they add up their stats, but they do report their crime in Atlanta, all the crime that comes across. They kind of have to. Now, the only places that please tell me my camera's still working. Yeah, it's still working. Anyway, the only places that you will find that they are underreported are usually in Hispanic neighborhoods, and a lot of that has to do with the mistrust of the police and things like that. They don't report their crimes. They usually deal with them in-house, so to speak. California is the only state that puts tracking device on certain types of firearms. Yeah, I don't even know about that. Happy New Year! Did I freeze? Did the thing freeze on us? Let's see if that works. I don't know what happened. Okay. Um, oh, it did freeze. It's good. Okay, because I have another thing open here and it shows that it's frozen. That was weird. Okay, I guess we're okay. Good, 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 good. Okay. Okay, sorry about that, guys. It was weird. One of my screens froze and I thought, "Oh no." But then the other one was doing fine. Hold there. So Uh, so it's so funny. Everyone always thinks Chicago is actually the deadliest city and all this, and they have the most murders most years, but they have 10 times as many people as like number 2 and 3 on the list. So their ratio is really low. Oh, that's where it is. Look at this. Boom. Chat can go away. I like the chat overlay. It's kind of cool. Best towns in Idaho. Um, so there's a lot of videos that people have been requesting, and that's another one. Best towns. They want me to do it. I think last time I did them was 2018. So it's about time to update some of those older videos we did. Um, Izzy, slow mode is something that gets turned on if people are just spamming, and we're getting a lot of spam right now that you guys can't see a lot of. So you slow it down for a little bit, and then those people go away. Basically, it's spammers and someone trying to get you to buy crypto. So I just leave that on there for a few minutes and take it off. So it'll slow the chat down a little bit. Sorry. Yeah, true. Atlanta does have a higher crime rate than Chicago. There's a lot of cities that are like that. I think one of them is Houston, has a far higher crime rate than Chicago. Last time I checked now, it's probably wrong because I think they moved up a little bit, but it was like 2 years ago. Everyone's all, "Oh, Chicago's got the highest crime rate and the highest murder rate and all this other stuff." No, I looked. They were actually ranked like 25th, okay? And that's just because the sheer volume of people. Most stats in a city the size of Chicago, New York, or Los Angeles are gonna be pretty high if you just look at the number of things happening. More people means more problems. Happy New Year. Yeah, maybe we will do the Philippines eventually. It's very popular for people to retire on, to retire to, I should say. What state would you say is the best to live in right now? The best state, in my opinion, to live in right now would probably be Vermont or Maine. Low crime rate, their cost of living isn't crazy. It's not low, but it's not insane. Um, so yeah, I would say Vermont. I would say Wisconsin. Pennsylvania might be a good one if you're going to go rural. Um, I don't know. Uh, why here, Briggs? I want to know why Houston never gets any press, even though it's got a higher crime rate than Compton. First of all, Compton's not nearly as bad as it used to be. Compton's, I wouldn't say good, but if most people just refer to something as Compton, oh, it's worse than Compton. It's worse than Compton. Compton's not that bad these days. So now, if you were to say it's worse than Compton was in the 1990s, that's pretty bad. Compton was horrible then. It's not great right now, but too cold. Yeah, that's one reason I'd never moved to Thailand. I don't like Thai food. So, back before I was married, so this goes way back. I was on a date and the girl's all, "Let's go get Thai food." I had Thai food like one other time before in my life, and I sat there and suffered through this meal that I hated because she was hot. All right, let's take that off. All right. Here's a good one. Briggs, do you believe crime statistics? Briggs, do you believe crime statistics should be interpreted solely as per capita numbers without considering the demographics of the population? No, they're two totally different things. I mean, you could lump it all into whatever, but the only reason that someone wants to look at someone for the demographics, maybe there's a study, but most of the time they just want to throw it on some minority race. Oh, look, they've got a high crime rate and they've also got minorities. They also have low income equality. They have really horrible job market. They have budget problems, no after school programs like you might find some other thing. There's a whole bunch of other things too. You don't just take one stat that's horrible and put it on some minority. It's actually weird that that's the first thing people's brains go to. I mean, if it's almost like how everyone's all, "Oh, well, these are the worst states." Well, no, they're the poorest states, and I forget what I'm trying to say, but um, statistics are different and studies are different. And if you're just trying to break it down, basically you're forcing a scenario. You're taking a stat and adding it to something else and saying this is the problem without considering any of the other problems that it could be. Oh, I'm not saying you are, but I'm saying that's when you can't just take 2 stats, put them together, and go, "This is the reason." And that's I mean, you could take stats individually, or you gotta look at the whole picture. List of cities with the least pride. Um, I think we did states on that, and it didn't do that well, and usually if something didn't do good on a state version, the city version doesn't do well either. Well, this was hysterical. Dregs, help me out. How long's it been since we saw this joke? Calling me Mr. Clean. So first of all, Mr. Clean is bald. I shave my head. Big difference. I am gray though. I'm very gray. I'm like I'm like 5 years away from knocking Bob Barker out of the whitest hair. That is oh wait. Debbie, that is a bummer. It's hard. It definitely is hard. Yeah, well, Charles, poverty is the biggest predictor of crime. You're always going to have higher crime when you're in a poverty place because people. Now, you got to take the whole group of people. Not everyone's out committing crime to get by, but a lot of people are in bad situations, and human beings are going to do whatever they can to survive. I mean, back when we were living in caves, if one cave couldn't catch any food, what do they resort to? They go to, a cave on the other side of the mountain and basically attack those people and try and get their food. This is just human nature, and animals do the same thing. People want to survive and they do whatever they can to survive. Now, if you give a bunch of people jobs, and let's say a place like, I don't know, Camden, New Jersey, which has a violent crime rate that's pretty high. If you put some manufacturing place in there that all of a sudden injects 5,000 jobs into the community, your crime rate is going to drop through the floor. People need to survive. Now, you have some people that just choose to be criminals. Okay, you have those, they're bad people and they need to be thrown away. A lot of crime happens because someone's desperate. Thanks, Jason. I do not watch Southern Life on YouTube. Have a good night, Debbie. Happy New Year. That offer the most tax benefits for Hollywood movies in New York. Oh, that's a pretty good idea. Birmingham or Little Rock? Oh, that's a rough one. They're about the same. That's a rough question. Probably Birmingham, I'd choose. Mm. Thanks for doing the blackest cities and states. Is it possible if you do one of the best places African Americans to move in 2023? I might. I mean, it is a good question, stuff like that, but um, I don't know, it's kinda rough for me because 'cause I'm under the impression you should be able to move wherever you want, and I know there's situations where you probably don't wanna move to certain places. It's sad and it sucks, that's the way it is. Um, but yeah, it's something I've thought about doing. I That's something that's kind of been tossed around with us before. Um, so yeah, maybe. We are going to do the gayest cities, or the gayest states, and I was doing the research on it. It's very interesting. They have a thing called gay villages, which are communities. We all have them in our big cities where you have a community where a lot of the gay people like to go live and you know just exist. And it's usually because it's a little more friendly environment than other places in the city. So yeah, that's something we might be doing also. Also, I keep getting requests for the most Jewish communities. I don't know if I'm gonna do that one. Jewish people know where the Jewish communities are. Oh, here's a good question. Do you actually feel like California or Florida has better beaches? I think California has better beaches. That's my opinion. Probably because I've been up and down most of California's beaches. Now, the most beautiful beaches, in my opinion, are not even beaches. They're the beach, but its coast is Oregon. Oregon has the amazing coast. Sure, you don't lay out on it all the time and put suntan lotion on, but it's just beautiful. Yeah, actually, I did see Nick Johnson's road trip through California. It was really depressing. Me and him hooked up and had a couple beers and got thrown out of a bar when he was in Portland. Actually, I got thrown out of the bar. Nick went with me. So I wouldn't mind doing that one. It'd be pretty easy. I've already researched. I know what they are. I can't think of offhand, but I've done best places to do 4th of July, and the video just tanked. I did the best Christmas towns. The video just tanked. Actually, I think I took the Christmas towns one down. 3 things each states are known for. Yeah, that could be good. We did one. I think we did one about, or maybe I just have it researched. What each state is known for. Yeah, I like Florida's beaches too, but I just prefer California's. Something about the Pacific Ocean. Um, they always say there's like this saying that goes way back. The Pacific Ocean has no memory, and it helps you get past your history. So yeah, it's weird. It's like you hit the Pacific Ocean and you can start a new life. I will tell you one thing I do miss about living in Southern California. I've surfed, I scuba dived, I've snorkeled, I've done everything out there, fished in the Pacific Ocean. But my favorite thing to do is just walk ankle deep in a sandbar. When they get a sandbar sometimes, oh my God, it's the greatest thing to me for some reason. When the sand and the water is 2 inches, 3 inches deep, 100 yards out in the water, where, a week ago was 10 feet of water. For some reason, I just love that. I don't know. I could do that for hours. Tal Winter, thank you for supporting the channel. Lemon Characters offering a gift for baby lemon. What? I don't even know what that means. But thank you for supporting the channel. Curious as to what state I live, or talking about me, I live in Oregon. I live just outside the Portland metro area. In the Portland metro area, but outside of Portland. Don't be nervous about moving to Cleveland. Just know where the bad areas are. I mean, you kind of got to do that with every city. Cleveland's got some. Ooh, excuse me. Cleveland has some places you should probably avoid, but it's affordable. I mean, it's crazy affordable. Even in the nicer neighborhood, even in the nicer neighborhoods, it's affordable. Happy New Year. Best lakes on the east wind. Best lake towns could be definitely a good video. Just on climate. That'd be good. Can I name all the states in alphabetical order? No. But I can name all the vice presidents. I went through this thing a long time ago where I was going to be an expert on number twos. So I was gonna memorize all the winners of the that lost in the I was going to memorize all the losers in the World Series and the Super Bowl and on down, and then I was gonna go as far as the Indy 500 and then the vice presidents, things like that. Start doing it. It was just this weird thing I had. It was like a bar trick. What is this video about? This video isn't about much. It's really just us hanging out and talking on New Year's. If you don't know my channel, I make videos about locations, and every once in a while I do a live stream, and people ask me about places in the United States. That's kind of my thing. It's what I study. It's what I do. Do you have a question about the United States? Do you have a question about my shoe collection? How about what video games I play? We could talk about that. Here's a question for all of you. Ooh, wait, do I have that thing on here? I don't think I do. What's better, Star Trek or Star Wars? I asked that in the community tab today. I was just talking to Nick last week. We gotta do a collaboration, see if we can spark, some interest in something. So I'm gonna start doing the day trips again when I get back from my cruise. So late February, early March, somewhere in that area. We'll do that. Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars. Yeah, I'm a Star Wars guy. My dad loves Star Trek. I love Star Wars. We have all these. They're really nice. I don't know where we got them, but they're like collector items. All the Star Trek ships for our Christmas tree as ornaments. Spaceballs. Spaceballs the greatest movie ever. MacGyver. Here's a piece of trivia about MacGyver. You know who I don't know, came up with this MacGyver? Henry Winkler. Yeah. It was his first project after Happy Days ended. He wasn't in the show really. He just came up with it. He went to the producers of Happy Days, some other producers he knew, said he wanted to make a hero that doesn't use a weapon. Battlestar Galactica. I like the old one. Back in the 1980s, that came out and that was amazing. Of course, that was during the old Star Wars craze and all that. So it was amazing. I want to take more train trips this year. I don't know if I'm going to have much time this year, but I want to do more train trips. Cleveland, NCS, thank you for supporting the channel. Really appreciate it. I've been dying for a month to ask this question. Okay, this should be good. Question. How did St. Louis not make the deadliest cities list? Because they got a high crime rate, they don't have a high murder rate. That's all there is to it. I mean, they have a good sized murder rate. It's not like they're, out of the top 20. They're probably number 16, maybe 17. They're not nearly as bad as places like Detroit. Um, Houston is worse. Albuquerque's pretty bad. Camden, New Jersey, Philadelphia, they're all way worse. First of all, my last name is Briggs, not Riggs. Um, my favorite rock band of all time is The Clash. After that, New Order. These days, I love Bon Iver. Randy Cox, what do you like best about your train trips? What's that old thing? Leave the driving to us. I love seeing America, and I don't want to drive. Um, I I don't when I drive, I go look straight ahead. I don't get to enjoy the scenery. I get the room on the train and I set a GoPro and I let it film, but I just enjoy the trip. Enjoy the trip. I get to see America. It's amazing. Oh, yeah, that's right. How's that working? Big Dog National Food Company LLC. There you go. I got an LLC. My friend Greg, his favorite band's Rush. Loves Rush. KRQ. That's what I used to listen to growing up. I heard, well, I was reading about it, so I know what happened, but they totally screwed KRQ up. KRQ was alternative. Back in the day, it was new wave. Um, and it was LA's best radio station. And then, the big corporations bought it and changed it and stuff like it. In the last couple of years, they started firing all the old DJs because people don't really listen to radio anymore. They're listening to podcasts. So KRQ just got destroyed by one person, the new programmer or whatever his job was. But the guy that was basically running K Rock, from everything I've read, just destroyed it. And they were no longer playing alternative. Next thing you know, everyone's all, why is Post Malone on K Rock? And it just kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Not an icon of the South Bay or of Los Angeles. It's like a family heirloom type thing. I don't know what word I'm trying to say, but they just destroyed this wonderful thing about Los Angeles. My favorite Clash song, um, it's a toss up. It's really hard to say. Lost in the Supermarket. I love that one. Train in Vain. Okay, Train in Vain is probably my favorite, but um, yeah, Train in Vain, greatest song. What's your favorite adult beverage? Dark beer. I like my beer like I like my women, dark, thick, and loaded with alcohol. Early 2000s, yeah, that's about the truth. But KRQ was just amazing through the 90s and the 80s. Then they just started jerking it around. Opinion on steroids. I, I don't know. My opinion is they screw up your body. I know because when I was in the army, they were readily available, and it screwed up my body. WKRP in Cincinnati. Such a great show. Tom Likas, God, that's a word, a name I haven't heard in a long time. God, what was that radio station, that sports radio station out of San Diego where Jim Rome came from originally? God, that was Jim Rome. Jim Rome. That was a great station. Back before the internet, we had to listen to the radio to find things out about what's going on in the sports world. Broadcasting career. Da, 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 da. Oh, Extra Sports 690 San Diego. That's what it was. God, that was a. I used to listen to that all the time driving around LA. Have you ever visited Detroit recently? Portland, Oregon's crime has drastically changed for the worse. It really has. Our crime rate's pretty high, but hopefully we're going to be doing a little bit better. No, actually, Jim Rome, like the city in Italy, Rome. Um, oh yes, Jim Everett thing with Jim Rome was great. So Jim Rome was a sports. I don't know. He wasn't a commenter during the thing. He just did sports radio, and he would come up with these nicknames about people, and some of them weren't very flattering. If you remember Monica, what was her name? The tennis player, some crazed fan stabbed her with a steak knife while she was, they rest between um, sets, and this guy ran up from the audience, stabbed her in the neck. He started calling her steak knife all the time. So that's not cool. And then Jim Everett was a football player, quarterback, and he was known for taking a dive too quick. Well, there was also a tennis player named Chris Evert, so he started calling him Chris Evert. Chris Evert's a female. Jim Everett goes on his show and he calls him Chris Everett on his TV show he had. And he goes, I hear you've been calling me that. And he goes, I don't think you're going to call me again. And Jim Rome goes, I bet I am. And he goes, I bet you aren't. And all of a sudden, Jim Rome just stares at him for a second and goes, Chris, and throws over the throws over the table and just attacks him. It was great. If you ever want to see it, say type in Jim Rome gets attacked on YouTube. It is hysterical. Monica Seles, thank you very much. Which do I pick? Detroit or Africa? That doesn't even make sense. Rome is burning. That was his show. Was that his show? Is that like his podcast now? What states haven't I visited? I've been to all states, all 50 states. Most, I'd say about 30 of them, more than 2, 3 times. I've been to some where I've only been there like, a day or 2, but I've been to all the states. Hey, Thomas, how are you? Las Vegas. All right. So where's the person that asked what this video is all about? Here we go. We got a person talking about Cleveland. Okay, definitely depends on the area. West side Cleveland will be a bit cheaper. Thanks, Ariel. I think that is Ariel. Hey, Isabel. How are you? That could be either one. They're about the same. Memphis is worse. Baton Rouge ain't great though. Marysville, Washington. How are you, Ron? The Pope did die. Was it today or yesterday? Yeah, I have noticed a lot. Happy New Year to you, Isabel. Uh, we have had quite a few celebrities drop in the last couple days. Thanks, Bob. Yeah, I'm gonna start that back up when the weather gets better. You know, weather kind of slowed things down, and then we got busy, so I'm definitely gonna start that back up. I've got a list of probably about 50 towns, small towns, where everyone from the mayor to city council people invited me out there to take a look at the town. So we will be going out to visit some of them, and I will be giving you. I've had some of them offer me money. I'm not taking money. I'm just go out there and check out their towns. If they put me up, great, in a hotel or something like that, or Airbnb. But yeah, I'm gonna give you the truth about these small towns. Yeah, that's right. Betty White died a year ago today. Happy New Year to you, Amber Life. Travel expenses. Yeah, maybe. I'm lucky that when I do those videos, they make a good amount of money on AdSense and stuff like that. Uh, yeah, it might be okay to get some extra money from them too, but maybe if they paid for my flights, I don't know. Seems like if they pay for my time to be there, I gotta give them a glowing review. And if a place sucks, and I'm gonna tell you about it. That's right. Barbara Walters, the other one. Do I like Bakersfield, California? My niece is, I actually by marriage, but we have some people that are from there in our family. Um, I'm not a fan of Bakersfield. Wife and I are thinking about moving to Florida or from Florida to Wyoming. We're split on Cody or Sheridan. What do you suggest? So they're both about the same. Uh, give me one second here. I'm not sure of the population thing. They're both pretty small. I mean, every city in that's 10,000 people in Cody, okay, and Sheridan. Sheridan 19,000. So Cody's going to be cheaper. I already know that. The real estate's going to be better. Sheridan probably considered a little bit better of a city. Cody is a little quieter. Um, I'd probably choose Sheridan over the two, even though Cody's going to be cheaper. Yeah, that is true. That is what night and day, isn't it? What's your favorite, Briggs? What's your favorite cartoon? Ren and Stimpy. What was the one I used to? So there were some really cool ones back in the '70s when I was a kid that did last like one season by Hanna Barbera. But like, um, what were they? The Hair Bear Bunch, hysterical. Now that you think back about it, it was a group of bears that lived in a zoo and they were hippies and they had a van. It's ridiculous. What do I think about Spokane? We were talking about Compton earlier. They jokingly call Spokane Spokompton. That's what the people call it there. It's not the greatest place. Christy Alley, that's right. Powdered Toast Man. I love Powdered Toast Man. So I like my humor a little twisted. That's why Ren and Stimpy just works for. Yeah, great Chinese food in California. Actually, the best Chinese food I've ever had is in San Francisco. Sure, you might have to jump over someone's tent to get into the restaurant these days, but actually, God, what is it? San Francisco has no, I think it's someplace in Wyoming of all places. I forget what it is, but San Francisco has like the oldest Chinese food restaurant that's been continually operating, but at the same time, I think Wyoming does. Each one has a distinction, but some of the best Chinese food in the United States you're going to find is going to be in San Francisco. Kind of where it all started. That's where all the Chinese people showed up when they first started coming here during the gold, well, before the gold rush, but they were landing in San Francisco and they set up shop there. Yeah, I think it is. It's a small town, Liliana, in Montana that has like the oldest operating Chinese food restaurant of all places, Montana. Butte, is it in Butte? I gotta look that up. Is it? There it is. Okay. The oldest continually operated Chinese restaurant in America is not in San Francisco or New York, but Butte, Montana. 47 years old. Jerry Tam is the great great grandson of the original owner. Pekin Noodle Parlor. That's what it's called. Let's see if I can throw this up here for you guys. Boom, 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 boom. This is pretty cool. I got this here, so we're gonna show it right there. Nope, that's not it. Here it is. Boom. Can I do it like that? But yeah, that's the oldest Chinese food restaurant in the nation. Wow, that's weird. Get back to the chat. What do we got here? San Joaquin Valley, YouTuber. Who did? Oh yeah, that little guy. He had some weird disease. I think he was 27. I don't think he was 37. I just saw that. Yeah, beloved YouTuber Keenan Cahill, 27. He was 27 when he died. That's so sad. A little tiny guy. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna wind this down. I'm getting kind of tired, and I got to go see what my wife's doing. Um, Everyone, happy New Year! I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being part of my channel and all this. It means the world to me. This has been a life changing adventure, and I love doing this. And I love the fact that you guys show up for things like this on a New Year's Saturday night and hang out with me for a little bit. Um, I'll see you next Saturday. We're gonna do this again next Saturday. Maybe the Saturday after that, and then we might have to take a couple weeks off because I got some traveling to do. But I will see you guys next Saturday. Again, thank you for hanging out with me. Everyone, be cool. Be nice to each other, not be cool to each other. Be nice to each other.